I have quite literally messaged 1,000 women by this point in time. Loyalty tests, dating apps, social media, you name it, I have done it. Now, since I've been doing this for years, you tend to notice some common trends amongst the women that you deal with, especially when it comes to texting. And since I'm the digital Romeo, and to put you guys on game, in this video, we're gonna discuss 10 things I've learned after DMing 1,000 women. I'm pretty sure it's way more than 1,000 at this point in time too. Subscribe, like, let's go ahead and get right into it. So the reason why I talk about looks so much is because when it comes to increasing my own attractiveness, I've noticed that has been pretty much the #1 thing that has changed my dating life. And that leads into my first point, is that whenever a girl perceives you as highly attractive, your text game doesn't have to be all that special. I know a lot of people tend to overcomplicate texting, and yes, there are some baseline rules we should follow. However, if the girl perceives you as at least an 8, 9, or especially a 10, then you can pretty much get away with saying pretty much anything and they're going to reply. Now, that doesn't mean that you want to immediately sexualize the conversation or just act like a total complete idiot, because that won't take you very far. However, for the most part, you don't have to overthink pickup lines. You don't have to overthink, what am I going to say to reply to this? Because they make the conversation really easy for you. And you can even open with a simple text like, hey there, what's up? And they're still more than likely going to reply. So that's the biggest thing I've noticed after DMing a lot of women, is that the ones that found me really attractive, it was very easy to keep the conversation going with them. Now, despite saying that, the second thing I've learned is that text game still matters. And I know it sounds like I'm going against what I just said, but keep in mind, in order to get the results that you want out of the outcome of the situation, you need a game plan. You need a strategy. And that is where text game strategy can work in your favor. Because despite you being more attractive or increasing your SMV, you're still going to deal with time wasters, attention seekers, and women who aren't really genuinely into you, even though it seems like they might be. So that's why having a good texting framework or strategy can help you weed out those time wasters and really get the results that you want as fast as possible. Yes, I could just text women all day, every day, and eventually set up a day and then get everything going. However, why would I do something that takes 2 weeks when, if I had the right game plan, I can get it done within 2 days. Speaking about attention seekers, the third thing I've learned is that women will text you for entertainment. If you're a funny guy, charismatic guy, you're just good at texting, sometimes women will solely do it just so that you can entertain them because they are bored. That is why, going back to the second point, you need a good text game strategy in order to weed out those certain time wasters. Because trust me, a woman will seemingly seem like she's very highly attracted to you and very interested in you through text. However, you'll come to find out she was only texting you for the entertainment to pass the time. Especially if you're more of a funny guy who has a lot of good text banter, you gotta be very careful with that. That's why majority of the time, I like to keep my text simple, straightforward, not trying to be super funny, and getting to the point. A to B, setting up the date and doing things falling in line with my digital Romeo texting strategy in order to get the results faster and quicker, as I said before. So the year was 2019, I moved to a new city and I started going really heavy on dating apps. This was before the boom of the pandemic in 2020 when everybody was on dating apps. So it was still saturated, but not as saturated as it is now. And I decided to run a little experiment. I started keeping track of the girls who I met up with, of the girls who I closed with, and I kept track of how the interactions went through the dating app all the way up to meetup. And what I came to notice is that I had a way more likely higher chance of meeting up with women who messaged me first. This goes into my whole new dating theory that you must pick or choose women who choose you. I've discussed this many times before, but this will literally transform your dating life as it has mine. So since I noticed that the woman who messaged me first, I had a likely higher chance of meeting up with and just having a great time with, how can I get more women to message me first? And then that's when I came up with my dating funnel strategy that I teach within my Digital Romeo mentorship. Essentially what you want to do is treat dating like fishing. You cast out your net or your bait out there, and then from there you want to attract and catch the highest quality fish out there, but you got to have these certain things in place in order to attract the quality fish. Before that, I was thinking of the whole chase mentality, just shoot my shot at a lot of women and see where it goes, but I ended up wasting just a lot of time. And that's why I personally started dealing with women who mostly only messaged me first. Yes, I did see some results from me having to cold DM and stuff like that. Of course I have, but by and large, the woman who messaged me first, I had a greater experience and time with in the long run. Also within the year 2019, something happened to my Instagram account, and that is I got verified on Instagram. This is the highest social proof that you can have within an Instagram account because it's pretty hard to get and it's not easy to get. You have to be notable and somebody of value if you want to get a blue check mark. That being said, a lot of guys have asked me, does a blue check mark help with getting noticed on Instagram and sending out DMs and just attracting more women? And I can tell you that having a blue check mark helps with being seen, but that's about it. Still, the same principles apply. If the woman's not attracted to you, she's not gonna reply. It doesn't matter. And the reason is because think about how many blue check marks are in an average girl's DMs, guys. We have heard about it. These celebrities, these athletes, these entertainers, all blue checkmark people are in average girls' DMs. So maybe 4 or 5 years ago, having a blue checkmark slide in their DM was something impressive and crazy and it would have helped. But nowadays in 2023 and beyond, having a blue checkmark in their DMs is nothing special at all. All it really does is help with getting seen, but she still must be attracted to you. You still must follow a text game strategy in order to get the results out of the interaction. It's not like having some sort of superpower. Trust me guys, it doesn't work that way. When I was doing my messaging experiments like DMing girls, IG models, or fitness models, there's one thing I've noticed in regards to the blue checkmark stuff, and that is that literal celebrities were liking their pictures. I kid you not. Michael B. Jordan, Drake, this athlete, this entertainer was liking, like actually physically liking these normal girls' pictures, or definitely these IG models' pictures too. So with that being said, whenever I sent out the message and I didn't get a reply, it was like, okay, what do you expect? You gotta keep in mind the sexual market value levels when it comes to messaging on Instagram. And that is, if your social proof doesn't match hers, or at least is somewhat higher than hers, then more than likely she is not going to reply. That's what you gotta keep in mind. So if you're a guy out there with 2,000 followers on IG, or even 400 like most of you guys, and you're following like 2,000 people, don't expect any sort of high quality social proof status woman to reply to your messages. It's not gonna happen because they have Michael B. Jordans, the Drakes, they have the Leonardo DiCaprios in their DMs. I kid you not. And the thing is, a lot of these women know that these relationships are temporary, but they're still willing to enact on it just because the status. And status goes a long way when it comes to messaging on Instagram. Are you tired of getting on dating apps and not getting the results that you want, the quality of women that you want, or maybe even the quantity of women that you want? You're tired of getting flaked on, ghosted, just overall disregarded. You want to be a man of value, increase your sex appeal, increase your finances, and increase your value to the marketplace. Then I'm gonna need you to apply for my Digital Romeo mentorship. This is a 12-week mentorship where I'll take you through the exact processes that I did in my own personal life to increase my looks, to increase my sex appeal, and to learn what it really takes to master online dating so that you can then translate that into more success. Not only that, but I'll teach you how to build your status on online media platforms so that you can also leverage that for more dating success and financial success. We don't work for everybody, but you may be a good fit. If so, click the link down below to apply to the 12-week mentorship, and I'll see you soon. Back to the video. The next thing I've learned is that high interest women will set a date with you within 5 to 10 messages. This is where I set my sort of date rule when it comes to meeting a woman on dating apps, or even if I met a woman in person and we schedule a date, within 5 to 10 messages, if she's not willing to set a date, then more than likely that date is not gonna happen. I've done this even with loyalty tests. Random strangers who have boyfriends were willing to set a date within 3 to 4 messages of me messaging them. And this happened consistently over a long period of time. Even with the girls I met on dating apps, it's always between 5 and 10 messages. They are usually willing to set a date if you frame it well, and once again, to follow that texting strategy that I talked about. And with that being said, if a girl doesn't set a date within 5 to 10 messages, then more than likely she isn't as into you as you think she is. She might be medium interest, she might even be low interest, or even high interest in disguise, meaning she just wants your time, energy, and attention. That is why I personally follow this rule of setting the date fairly fast in order to not waste my time and seek out time wasters. Because trust me, she is setting a date with with somebody. You just don't know it. Now, once again, as I'm doing these loyalty tests and DMing girls on Instagram for the videos that I do, I've noticed that most girls actually reply either very fast or at the max 2 days. If they don't reply within 48 hours, cut your losses. Now, I think this can be applied to dating apps, social media, messaging, stuff like that. There should be like a 48-hour time period rule, and that is because most women will reply within that time frame if they were gonna reply to you. If they reply any later than that, you just caught them at a good time and they were bored scrolling through the messages, because most women reply fairly fast, and the faster she replies, the more likely higher interest she is in you. I've noticed that out of all these messages I've done is that if they reply, within 20 minutes, an hour on a cold DM, I already know it's in the bag. So how fast somebody responds essentially equates to their attraction level towards you. That is a golden rule. Now, within your texting strategy, I've realized that the more eager or interested that you seem within a woman, the more that actually turns them off. See, us guys, we're sometimes too logical in our approach when it comes to dealing with women. And that means is that if you show that you're interested, if you're excited, sending emojis, exclamation points, that shows the woman subconsciously that you're not abundant, you're probably the only girl she's talking to, and that makes her attraction less and less. Because truth hurts, women like men who don't need them. Women like men in abundance. So if you're way too eager before you meet her, showing too much excitement, that's going to repel her and almost be wary and guarded towards meeting you. That's why, once again, I keep saying it, texting strategy, as all guys should have, you should still follow some sort of framework in regards to your enthusiasm levels. And there are certain practical ways and methods in order to convey abundance and making sure that you don't come off too eager, in which I'll probably talk about on my Patreon one day. Now, the number 10 thing that I've learned is that it actually goes down in the DMs. Remember that song? It goes down in the DMs. Guys, it actually does. A lot of women meet guys through the DMs, and me myself, if I had to weigh out where I've met women the most, it's Instagram and dating apps. With Instagram at this point in time being nearly matching dating apps. I'm not even gonna lie, guys. Instagram is the world's biggest dating app. You just don't know it because you're not getting any messages, and you're probably not sending out messages either. But trust me, it goes down in the DMs, and I've seen it with my own percentages. I have around a 30% open rate, meaning that if I find a girl who's sort of into my niche and I know she'll be attracted to me, if I send her a quote DM, about 30% of the chance she's gonna open it. And then from there, if she's definitely in my city, I could probably set up a date. So that means if I DM 1,000 women, I have a chance of going out with 300 of them, simply off a cold DM on Instagram. Think of how much access that is. And obviously, the more attractive you are, the higher your value is on social media, then obviously that's gonna be higher and higher. I'm sure somebody like Drake has a 99% open rate, and he can pretty much have any girl he wants to because of the status, the fame, and all that stuff that we talked about. Now, just to give you a little comparison, sending a cold email in email marketing, it is said to be a good percentage if you have a 20 to 30% open rate. So if somebody's having 20% plus, 30% plus, that is actually very, very good. So guys, don't be fooled. If your girl has a public Instagram account, if your future girlfriend, future wife, wherever she may be, she has a public Instagram account and is posting pictures of herself, sexy pictures, just know somebody is in those DMs and you just don't know it. Just saying, man, we've seen it time and time again. Now, as a bonus thing that I've learned is that timing in the numbers game is still a variable that plays heavily into this, and is something that we have no control over. Timing in the fact that you can DM a girl and she could just be getting into a relationship or even getting out of a relationship, and that would dictate whether or not she responds. Timing in the sense if she catches your DM at the right time of day when she's in a positive emotion and she decides to be friendly and open it, versus in the morning groggy, just got laid off from her job and she doesn't want to talk to anybody. And also, once again, numbers game. Dating is just pretty much a big numbers game. However, much like sales, you can manipulate the numbers game to be more in your favor by having a strategy and a game plan towards your dating process. And a big part of my dating process when it comes to messaging is doing something called pre-qualifying. All pre-qualifying is seeing if a girl will be into your product, aka you. So this is gonna be different based on your look, based on your race, based on your phenotype, based on your stature. I know the girls who are into me. I've dated enough women and talked to enough women to literally look at a girl and tell if she will be into me or not. And also through their Instagram following and others little measures I can pre-qualify a girl on. I can even do this on dating apps. So with that being said, that's how I manipulate the numbers game to be more in my favor whenever I do any sort of cold DM or messaging. If you want to learn more about my dating tactics, definitely be sure to check out my Patreon and also my digital Romeo mentorship down below. Thank you guys for watching. Definitely be sure to watch this video next. I'm gonna see you guys in the next one. Peace.